Hey guys, I'm back with another one. So I got a comment the other day, and I won't say by who, but it was by a young lady, and she was saying that she was pretty much venting about how she was really tired of being alone. She said she was tired of not having, her man, her friends, and just feeling like in a place where you're just very lonely, right? Very isolated. And if anybody can relate to this, it is me. Okay, this time in my life, I have been the most isolated I've ever been, and it is very tough. So how do you be alone? How do you get through that when you don't have anybody calling your phone? You don't have anybody texting you. You don't have a whole plethora of friends to go out with, right? You don't have what we think is um, the things that we need in order to be happy, right? So how do I be alone? Quite frankly, the biggest advice I would give you if you are alone, if you are by yourself, don't focus. I know this is easier said than done, but try not to focus on the outcome, the circumstances. Try not to focus on the fact that you are by yourself, right? The fact that you may not have any friends. Try not to focus so hard on that, because when you focus on that, you will be depressed. You'll be depressed. You'll be sad. You will constantly be thinking like, oh, I'm just by myself and I don't have anybody. When you stay in the problem, in the issue, you're not going to get anywhere. Okay. And I had to learn that the hard way. Anytime I stayed focused on what was not working out or who was not in my life or what I didn't have, it just made the problem magnified. Okay, so it didn't in fact help. It if anything, it just kept me in that space. So then in turn, it was longer and longer and longer. I didn't have anybody. I didn't have any people calling me. It seemed like it magnified the problem times 10. So my biggest advice is, even though it's hard, you have to redirect your attention. Okay, you have to redirect the fact that you don't have the people or you don't have the relationship that you're wanting in your life right now at this time. Okay. And a lot of times when we are by ourselves, that is the best time. That is the best time to level up. I always say this: when you are by yourself, that is the time that you should be going ham. You should be going hard in the paint. Okay, with whatever it is, with your creations, with your content, with your business, with your just, you focusing on glowing up. That is the time that you go hard in the paint. Because I'm telling you, once you have all these other people, because eventually, right, you will find the people that's for you, right? Eventually, you'll have friends that are better fitted for you. You'll have the partner that you always been waiting for. And once that comes in, you won't really have the time to do all of these other things. So I always say, when you are by yourself and you are lonely, literally distract yourself with everything, but everything and how to you can get some money. Okay. Okay, that's pretty much how I think. Like, I look at it like, okay, what can I do to look better? How can I show up better? How can I, let me go read a book, let me go take a walk, let me go try to write a book, right? Anything that I can do to be at the next level. All right, that is the best way in how you get through being lonely. And does that mean it's going to take away the loneliness? No, it's not. You're going to still feel it from time to time. You're going to, the emotions and stuff is going to still come up. But I notice with me, when I sit in it and I wallow in it, that's when it's just like it's worse. It's 10 times worse. And granted, I have my moments, right? I have my times where I break down and I just feel like, wow, I'm tired of waiting for my person, or I'm tired of waiting for to have more people in my life. Sometimes I go through that, right? But you have to realize that what we don't want to do is we don't want to settle. Okay, we don't want to settle. I know that is easier said than done, because in that moment, in that time, you are thinking like, you know what? I might as well just go ahead and just get me somebody, because I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of trying to be patient for the right person, for the right thing. But I'm telling you, when you settle, right? When you just pick anybody, any old person to be in your life, you will pay for that in the long run. You will, in the long run, you will pay for that in unhealed trauma, right? Lost time, money, resources, whatever the case. Okay, it's very, very important that you be very careful who you allow in your life. All right, especially in those lonely moments, because when you are lonely, that is the time. And I always say this: that is the time for the enemy to send in the counterfeit, send in the people that are not for you. Okay, because you just start to get impatient and you start to get antsy. All right, so try to look at the loneliness in a different way. Try to look at it like, okay, I'm by myself right now. What is going on? What is God trying to get me to see that I'm not seeing? What is He trying to get me to hear that I'm not hearing? Because God will definitely put you in a season of isolation if He is trying to get your attention on something and you're just not hearing Him, right? So that's why I always say to redirect the energy. Because when you redirect the energy, you'll look up. By the time you look up, right, you'll have done everything, and then by the time you notice, the person will be here, right? So you might meet your person while you out doing your purpose, while you're doing something to distract yourself, right? You might actually end up meeting the person that's for you. Okay, so you have to understand that being lonely is just a season. You won't be alone forever. You won't be single forever. You won't be without friends forever. And also, too, I feel like to say this. Sometimes certain things are just not meant for us, right? So it might not be meant for you to have a plethora of friends. Okay, I had to come to that realization. Like, I won't ever have just a plethora of friends. If you got one or two good people in your life, just hold on to them and cherish them, because sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes you don't. We think we need a whole team behind us of people to feel important. We don't. We just need some good, solid people that stand and sturdy, that we know we can trust with our everything. We know I can trust you with my life. That's what matters. It doesn't matter, how many people you have access to or have access to you. Okay, so I hope this helped a little bit. I did feel bad with the comment, because I get that. I relate to that. I'm a big crybaby, so I'll cry really fast, and then as soon as I cry, I'm like, okay, what else can I do? How can I be better? Because when you sit in that energy, I'm telling you, it has been plenty of times that I didn't settle, and I regretted it. A month or two later, I'm like, damn, I was just better off by myself. I was just better off just waiting for the right person. Because when the right people come in your life, it ain't gonna be lacking nothing, right? When we wait on when God is trying to bring something in our life, when we wait on what He's bringing, it ain't gonna lack nothing. So it's like if you just settle for half of what you really want, like I say, you just stalling the time to get where you're trying to go. All right. So and it's also detrimental. It's detrimental to your health. It's detrimental to your mental health, to your physical health. It's important that you realize, okay, that everything is in its perfect time. So I understand if you are by yourself, if you are lonely, listen, I'm right there with you. But I put all my energy into getting better. That's all I can do. I can't focus on what's not here. I gotta appreciate and focus on what is here and what is working out for me. Because this is another thing. When you practice gratitude in your life, you'll get so much further. When you practice what is working out and you stop focusing on what's not working out, listen, you will literally jump. You will what they say, call it quantum leap. You'll start the quantum leap. When you start when you start to just like appreciate what's working and you only focus on that, I'm telling you, your life will do a massive change. So don't settle. Okay, don't settle. I know it's hard. I know you're tired of waiting, but just try to stop focusing on the fact that you're by yourself. Try to stop focusing on the fact that you don't have no friends. Make up your own, like, make yourself fill in that space with more of yourself. Fill that space in with more of God. Fill that space in with more of things that, try different things where you didn't even know you would like, right? And I'm telling you, you're still gonna be a little bit of a void there, but you're gonna feel much better. And by the time you look up, you're not gonna be pressed to have somebody. And then that's when the person will come. As soon as we stop wanting for the person to come, that's when the person will come. So when we focus in and we obsessed, when it's never coming. It's never coming. When we say, you know what, let me just get more and more obsessed with myself, my own life, my own purpose. That's when, soon as you're not looking for it, that's when it show up every time. So I'm Wisdom. This is Wisdom Talks. I'll see you in the next talk.